Now at 10, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
And thanks for joining us here on the Fox 61 News at 10 on this Memorial Day weekend. I'm Sarah Sanchez. Holiday weekends like this mean a customer boon for local businesses. They count on foot traffic. Despite the weather, there was still a rush this weekend. Fox 61's Stefan Reels checked in with business owners across the shoreline who say it's still been smooth sailing.
Yeah, the weather this Memorial Day weekend has definitely thrown people out here on the shoreline for a loop. I had the chance to talk to a few business owners over here down in Niantic, and they told me they haven't seen as many people show up just simply because it's been colder than usual. It's been raining a lot more than usual. I should not be wearing this puffer jacket this time of year, but I have to because it's chilly. But be that as it may, traditions here are still strong, and so we've seen a bunch of family and friends come down here to celebrate the weekend. There's nothing like a summer on the Connecticut shore, even if it has a colder start than normal.
Niantic is really nice down here. You have a couple different spots to go. The Black Sheep, Constantine's.
We looked at eating outside. We said no. A little breezy about 2 hours ago.
Not such a great day out today, but that's okay with the weather. It's not raining.
It's the kickoff of summer, even though it doesn't feel like it today. And we're going to celebrate all of the memories and fun that we're going to have for the whole year.
According to Chain Store Age, the average consumer is expected to spend $289 over Memorial Day weekend, with food as the #1 purchase, whether it's a good cookout or dining out.
Memorial Day, just like in this town and anywhere along the coastline, is all dependent on the weather. Even though the weather wasn't very cooperative, they still came out.
Christopher James Herbert is the owner and chef at Constantine's on the Bay in Niantic. He says even though foot traffic this year hasn't been as much as in years past, summer still has business along Main Street busy. And the restaurant now plans to stay open 7 days a week in the warmer months to compensate.
And everybody will feel the weight of the people coming through the town. Everybody will be busy tomorrow.
At the same time, the thought behind the holiday still remains in the air, as places like Constantine's honor those who served the country with these photos that decorate the front wall as customers walk in the door. Their loved ones who left it all on the line.
There's a lot of military veterans throughout the whole area, and a lot of them have lost their lives. You just want to take and make people feel a little bit warmer when they walk through the door.
And come Memorial Day proper, you can expect roads like this one behind me to fill up all across Connecticut for Memorial Day celebrations. And we have a list of those waiting for you on our website, fox61.com. In Niantic, Stefan Reels, Fox 61.
And many cities and towns have Memorial Day parades this weekend. And in Vernon, the community holds a parade that could be the shortest one in the state. And that's what makes it so nostalgic. Fox 61's Joe Monty visited Vernon to ask them why they come out every year.
Talcottville, a historic neighborhood in Vernon, held its annual Memorial Day parade. People have been taking the short walk around the block for about 100 years now. I spoke to a 96-year-old woman who says she remembers being in the parade as a first grader back in the 1930s.
Back when I was even in first grade, we were in the parade. We had to say a piece, march up and back, and it was really a big time for us all.
Marilyn Roberts' family has been actively involved in the community since the early 1900s. Her sister, Linda Wells, the main organizer of the parade, brought the event back roughly 10 years ago. The parade is known for a number of reasons. One is the short route.
It's short because we go from our church here to the Civil War Monument, which is in Mount Hope Cemetery. It's the second oldest in Connecticut. We honor all of our veterans and everybody that has served. We really appreciate it.
Wells says when she and her sister were little, the school children had to recite poems in front of the monument. Nearly a century later, on Sunday morning, bands played patriotic tunes. And reenactors fired muskets. Fire! Several prominent community members like Vernon Mayor Dan Champagne spoke at the Civil War Monument and presented a wreath in commemoration.
Memorial Day is for those soldiers who fell in battle, and it's for us to remember the ultimate sacrifice that they gave for our country and the reason that we have freedom today. And no matter what you're doing for Memorial Day, always remember that.
Mayor Champagne also says people who no longer live in Vernon come back just for this occasion.
The same people show up every year, and usually the people that come down will come back because it's such an honor for our veterans.
Robert says that all these years later, she is so happy to still be part of this tradition with her sister.
It's great. It feels good because we've done it so long. You know, when you it's like Christmas when you do something over and over and you love it.
Organizers plan to keep the tradition alive. They say it's come and gone a few times over the last 100 years, but they say it's back to stay for as long as they can keep it going. In Vernon, Joe Monti, Fox 61.
And the town of Vernon has a lot planned tomorrow for Memorial Day. There will be another parade in the morning, stepping off at 9:30 from the Northeast School. There will be a short ceremony at Grove Hill Cemetery, and the parade will end at Central Park. The Connecticut Air National Guard is expected to fly over the area between 10:30 and 11 a.m. It's already been a busy weekend. In fact, TSA said Friday was the third busiest travel day of all time. The administration says it screened more than 3 million passengers on Friday, and it expects to screen 18 million more at airports all across the U.S. during this three-day weekend. TSA says the Real ID rollout has not been a big problem. 93% of passengers are showing up with a Real ID or another acceptable form of identification. As can be expected, state police have been busy with travelers out and about on Connecticut highways. Since midnight Friday, they've had over 2,500 calls for service. They've responded to 165 crashes, 13 of which had injuries, and they've issued 16 DUIs. All right, time for the forecast, but first check this out. What a way to close out the day in Washington. A rainbow after a quick round of rain there. The skies have been so gray lately. It's nice to see some rays of sun, even if it's only for a minute, and we love to see the rainbow. How cute. All right, let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank, and a lot of us have plans for Memorial Day. Rachel, what's it looking like?
It is finally looking like it will be brighter and warmer, and yes, you might have seen a little bit of sun here or there Saturday or Sunday, but most of the time we've been pretty socked in and locked in with the clouds. So if it's going to improve, it might as well be on Memorial Day. We're not expecting any issues for any parades or observances that happen to be ongoing. It's not going to be warm for this time of year, but at least it will be warmer, and we'll take what we can get. There is a chance for an isolated shower or sprinkle out there tonight. Not much, though. Temperatures right now are in the 50s to right around 60 degrees. And I think it'll be refreshing by the time you wake up tomorrow morning. Overnight lows will be between 45 to right around 50 degrees. But any clouds that we have out there overnight should break apart by daybreak. So we are waking up to sunshine. It's a nice, cool, again, refreshing start to the day. Heading through lunchtime, low 70s inland and upper 60s for the Connecticut shoreline. There is a chance for an isolated shower, but most of the state will end up staying dry. That'll be later in the afternoon and into the early evening. It gets even warmer for Tuesday, but the warmth and the sun don't last too long. We'll explain. Your full forecast is coming up in just a bit, Sarah.
Thank you, Rachel. Well, Saturday marked 6 years since the disappearance of Jennifer Farber Dulos. The New Canaan mother of 5 has never been found, but police believe her estranged husband, Fotis Dulos, killed her. Fox 61's Kay Pattyfoot has more on the work that still needs to be done for victims of domestic violence in Connecticut.
We came to the MDC Reservoir in West Hartford off of Albany Avenue because for years it's where mourners came to remember Jennifer Farber Dulos. The once vibrant memorial paid tribute to the mother of 5 and grew tremendously over the years as the investigation into her disappearance continued. That memorial has since been taken down, but many still remember and reflect, especially on the anniversary of her disappearance.
It allows us to reconsider the issue of domestic violence and what it means and how it impacts all of our lives.
Mary Jane Foster is the president of the Interval House, a nonprofit committed to ending domestic violence in our state. 6 years after her disappearance, the case of Jennifer Farber Dulos is one that still leaves many shocked and confused.
It goes directly against the grain of what people think domestic violence actually is and who it happens to. Jennifer came from a loving family. She grew up in privilege, a great education. She was smart, she was talented, well-educated, had lots of friends, and beautiful.
The mom of 5 went missing on May 24, 2019, after she was last seen dropping her kids off at school. After that, her disappearance turned into a statewide search for answers and resulted in her estranged husband, Fotis Dulos, being charged with murder, even though Jennifer's body was never found. Jennifer's family is encouraging the community to donate to organizations that support victims of domestic violence. In a statement, they said, quote, "We encourage those who can do so to donate to community organizations that support survivors of family violence, such as the Interval House Hartford, the Rosebrook Center, and many others." And with threats to funding that come from the federal government, these organizations need donations.
We receive about 50% of our funding from the government. We have known since last year that we would be facing cuts, significant cuts to our court advocacy program. I have 10 advocates who work in the Hartford and Manchester courts. 4,300 victims. I cannot do more with less. We're already doing that.
If you or someone you know is experiencing abuse of any kind, there is help. You can reach the National Domestic Violence Hotline or the CT Safe Connect hotline at the numbers or websites on your screen. Help is out there 24/7. We always have this information on our website at fox61.com. In West Hartford, Kay Pattyfoot, Fox 61.
Well, developing news now in Suffield. One person was hurt in a propane tank explosion. It happened at 3 in the afternoon at a house under renovation on 2nd Street. A person was hurt, although we don't know how badly. We have calls out to learn more. The fire department said the house was damaged. And we're learning more about a crash involving a 13-year-old moped rider in Southington. This happened in the area of Meriden Avenue in the Meriden-Waterbury Turnpike last night. Police say a teen was on the moped and passed several cars that were waiting for the red light to turn. When the light turned green, police say the moped collided with a vehicle making a turn. Police tell us the teen suffered life-threatening injuries and they're still in the hospital. No one else was hurt. We also have an update tonight on a serious motorcycle crash on Winstead Road in Torrington. Police have identified the victims. 32-year-old Nicholas Newman from Torrington and 31-year-old Spencer Parent from Colebrook. Newman hurt his leg, while Parent has what police call a serious head injury. The initial investigation found both were riding close together, heading north. They crashed into each other and were thrown from the bikes. The road is reopened, but police still want witnesses to come forward.